Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're sifting through a whole pile of information on tennis. We've got everything from academic studies on player skills to, participation reports, even analyses of what makes a player truly great. Our mission, to
Ah,
cut through all that and give you a shortcut to really understanding this amazing sport. Because tennis, well, it's way more than just hitting a ball back and forth. It's this incredible mix of physical skill, mental game, and deep strategy.
It really is. And it's such a dynamic, open sport. Success isn't down to just one single thing. It's more like a complex dance. You've got strategy, physical condition, mental toughness, technique. They all have to work together.
Right.
So we'll peel back those layers today, look beyond just the big serves and forehands, and get into what really makes players tick and win matches.
Okay, let's start big picture then. How many people are actually out there playing? The numbers are, well, they're pretty impressive, aren't they?
They really are.
So in 2023, 23.8 million Americans aged 6 and up played at least once. That's a huge increase, like 34% since 2019. But here's the kicker. 4.8 million people tried tennis for the first time in 2023. That's a jump of, get this, 133% in beginners since 2019. Just a massive influx.
It absolutely is. And that sustained growth is really interesting. It kind of erases doubts that the surge in engagement was simply a fleeting COVID-fueled craze.
Right, it wasn't just a lockdown hobby.
Exactly. After that initial spike in 2020, it just kept going up. And think about this. Total play occasions hit 527 million in 2023.
Hmm.
That's almost the same as golf, which was around 531 million rounds. So tennis is definitely thriving.
And the story gets even more interesting when you look at who is playing. The demographics are shifting.
Yeah, so
Well, in 2023, 40% of players were people of color. That's a new high for the sport in the U.S.
yeah.
And the growth rates are just phenomenal. Between 2019 and 2023, Hispanic Latino participation up 105%.
Wow.
Black African American participation up 63%, and Asian Pacific Islander up 49%.
That's fantastic. Really shows the sport broadening its appeal.
It does. And age-wise, it skews younger. Over half the players, about 56%, are between 6 and 34. Compare that to like 40% of the general U.S. population over 6.
Interesting.
Now, there was a slight dip in the youngest group, the 6 to 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
It went from 6.9 million down to 5.9 million between 2021 and 2023.
Okay.
But that seems mostly because, organized team sports came back properly after the pandemic. Kids went back to soccer, basketball, that kind of thing.
That makes sense. You also have to consider other racket sports, right? Like pickleball mania.
True.
Yeah, pickleball's growth is, well, explosive, up 289% since 2019, which is huge. But even with that, tennis still has the largest number of players overall in the U.S. Its roots are deep.
Yeah, and you see organizations like the USTA, the Tennis Industry Association, they're really working on keeping that momentum going, responding to these changes. But okay, millions of people playing, lots of newcomers. What does that mean on the court?
Yeah.
Let's talk about actually hitting the ball, technique.
Right, technique is absolutely fundamental, and biomechanics, how your body moves, that's integral to every single stroke. Let's break down the serve first. It's arguably the most important shot.
Okay.
The ball toss. Seems simple, right? But so many players struggle here. Ideally, you only want it 4 to 6 inches higher than where you actually hit the ball.
It's not very high.
No, it's not. You need a steady, controlled down-up motion. Hold the ball in your fingers, not the fingertips. Release it about head height. Tossing it too high, that causes inconsistency, messes up your rhythm, makes it tough in the wind.
Yeah, I think I probably toss it way too high, like feet too high sometimes.
A lot of amateurs do. It's about that precise timing.
And then the power, the spin.
Mm.
How did the pros generate so much of it? It looks effortless sometimes.
Well, a huge part of that is pronation.
Pronation.
Yeah, think like cracking a whip. The best servers, they rotate their forearm before contact, so the palm and strings face away from the target. That's called supination. Then, right through contact, they rapidly pronate, rotate the forearm forcefully. The palm and strings end up facing the target, then continue rotating. It's like snapping the racket through the ball. Pete Sampras, his serve, had incredible supination, creating that massive whip effect.
So it's not just arm strength. Where's the power actually coming from?
Great question. It's a full body effort. 2 main sources. First, leg drive. That explosive down and up bend and push from the legs.
Right.
That generates force from the ground, lets you hit the ball at the highest possible point. You see different stances, platform like Federer or Djokovic, pinpoint like Nadal or Murray, hybrid like Roddick. all designed to maximize that upward drive.
Okay, legs. What else?
Second is rotational power. You coil your upper body, turning your shoulders, even your back, towards the net, like winding up a spring in your torso. That stores energy in your trunk muscles, your obliques. Then you uncoil powerfully into the shot. So it's really a choreographed explosion using the whole kinetic chain, not just muscling it with your arm. That's the key to consistent power.
Wow. Okay, so legs, rotation. What about timing and maybe relaxation? Seems like you'd be really tense hitting that hard.
Actually, relaxation is crucial. The big servers like Roscoe Tanner or Nick Kyrgios, they often use a lower ball toss and a faster continuous motion, maybe only 1 second from start to contact compared to 1.5 or 2 seconds for others.
Good.
Yeah, it forces them to accelerate the racket head maximally, hitting the ball near its peak or even just below. And relaxation is key for speed and preventing injury, loose muscles or faster muscles.
How do you stay relaxed doing that?
Well, one tip is exhaling during the hitting phase, starting around the trophy position, arm back, ready to strike, and keeping a loose grip. Sampras apparently used to release a few fingers slightly during his windup just to remind himself to stay loose.
That's a neat trick. Okay, let's shift to the forehand. Often the biggest weapon for players, right?
Yeah.
What are the essentials there?
Definitely. For the forehand, you can think of maybe 5 steps. First, the foundation, the grip. Often a semi-Western grip is good for getting that heavy topspin, but also letting you flatten it out.
Okay.
Second, the unit turn. Turning your upper body and shoulders sideways early, almost as the ball leaves the opponent's racket. Stores energy. Don't just swing with your arm.
Get the body involved early. Got it.
Third, the power position. Racket head cocked back and high, shoulders coiled, like a cobra ready to strike. That's your leverage point. Fourth, racket lag. This isn't forced. It happens naturally with good mechanics. The wrist extends back, the racket head lags behind the hand, then whips through. Think Federer or Nadal.
Creates that whip effect again.
Exactly. And finally, the follow through and finish. You need to accelerate through the ball, not just to it. A full, smooth finish relaxes the muscles and helps prevent injury.
Makes sense. What about the one-handed backhand? So elegant, but notoriously tough.
It is beautiful, isn't it? Like Federer or Wawrinka. An Eastern backhand grip is common for topspin there. Similar principles apply. An early unit turn is vital, getting sideways quickly. Then a strong power position. Racket high, shoulders coiled, weight loaded on the back leg.
So timing and weight transfer must be even more critical with one hand.
Absolutely. It relies heavily on precise timing and that smooth transfer of weight through the shot to generate pace and depth. Early preparation is everything.
Okay, so we've covered the strokes.
Yeah.
But tennis isn't just hitting balls perfectly in isolation. It's about the match, the strategy, the mental side.
You got it. Hitting it well is one thing. Knowing where and when to hit it and handling the pressure, that's another level. A player's actual competence, their success level, it depends heavily on internal factors.
Look what?
Psychological preparation, physical conditioning, years of experience, even just how they're feeling on a given day. Mental strength especially correlates really strongly with winning matches, handling those big points.
And the tactical side.
Huge. Tactical awareness, situational awareness, anticipating what your opponent will do, making smart decisions under pressure. Research actually shows you can train these things using specific drills or video feedback. And anticipation leads to things like disguised strokes. Think Federer or Djokovic again. They can make serves or ground strokes look the same until the last second, fooling the opponent. Very effective.
So experience builds better tactics.
Definitely. High-performance players develop much more complex and sophisticated tactical knowledge over time, stored in long-term memory. They just know the patterns, the percentages, better than less experienced players.
Right.
And then, of course, there are the external factors you just can't control.
Right, like the opponent having a great day, the court surface, the wind.
Exactly. The tournament round, the weather, maybe a bad call, the crowd. All of it can influence the outcome. Shows why even the best aren't machines.
That's a good point. So many variables. What about doubles then? Strategy there must be totally different.
Oh yeah, doubles is a whole different beast. It's much more about geometry and teamwork. First, how you use the court. In singles, depth is key. In doubles, it's width. You're aiming for the alleys, the tram lines, more often.
Why that?
To keep the ball away from the player at the net, and to open up the middle of the court for your partner to attack.
Okay, and controlling the net seems vital in doubles.
Paramount. The team controlling the net usually wins the point. So you have to be looking to attack short balls, weak replies, anything to get yourselves up to the net first. Apply pressure.
So if your opponents do get to the net first, how do you pass them? It looks intimidating.
It can be. But you have options for passing. The highest percentage shot is often down the middle.
Really? Not wide.
Yeah, it gives you more court to aim for, less angle, and it can cause confusion who takes it. Causes hesitation.
Interesting.
Hitting down the tram lines is possible but riskier, needs more precision. Or a good topspin lob over their heads can work wonders, especially if they're crowding the net. There's also the two-step pass. Hit the first ball hard with topspin dipping at their feet. Force a weak volley up.
And then put the next ball away.
Exactly. Pass them or lob them on the second shot.
Smart. And holding serve in doubles seems crucial.
Absolutely. The serve and volley is still a very effective tactic, even on second serve sometimes.
Get to the net right away.
Yep. Reduces the returner's angles, puts pressure on immediately. Serving into the body or down the tee is often smart, limits their angles. But you mix in the wide serve too, keep them guessing. And always communicate with your partner, especially if you're serving wide so they're ready for the likely down-the-line return. It's a team play.
Right, teamwork is key. Okay, we've gone from participation to strokes to strategy. Let's talk about the pinnacle, defining greatness. It always sparks debate, doesn't it? Is it just about counting Grand Slams?
That's the million-dollar question. And no, it's usually more nuanced than just slams. Sure, traditional rankings like the ATP computer rankings, they show incredible consistency. Djokovic's record number of weeks at number 396 as of late 2023 is staggering. Federer's 311, Graf's 377 on the women's side. That shows sustained dominance.
But not the whole picture.
Not necessarily. There's this interesting concept called the prestige score. It came from analyzing matches from 1968 to 2010. It doesn't just count wins, it weights them by the quality of the opponent. Beating a top player gives you way more prestige than beating someone ranked lower.
So beating Nadal or Federer counts more than beating someone outside the top 50.
Exactly. It measures your ability to consistently beat the best. What it really highlights is that true greatness often comes from conquering the toughest challenges repeatedly. It's about who you beat, not just how often you win.
That's a cool way to look at it. So who came out on top according to that prestige score? Any surprises?
Well, for that whole period, 1968 to 2010, Jimmy Connors actually came out top overall.
Connors. Ahead of Borg, McEnroe, Sampras. Federer from that era.
Yep, mainly because his career was incredibly long and he was consistently beating top players for so many years. By decade, it was Connors in the 70s, Lendl in the 80s, Sampras in the 90s, and Federer in the 2000s.
Okay, that makes more sense decade by decade.
And by surface, Philos on clay, Connors again on grass, Agassi on hard courts. It adds another layer to the Joe debate.
Definitely. So, beyond rankings and prestige scores, what else shapes our perception of greatness?
Several other things. One is definitely economic pulling power. Tennis is a huge business. A player's ability to draw crowds, TV ratings, endorsements that contributes to their impact, and some argue their greatness.
The star power factor.
Exactly. Then there's aestheticism. It's subjective, of course, but the sheer beauty and style of a player's game. Think Federer's grace, or maybe McEnroe's touch, Nastis' flair that resonates deeply with fans.
Yeah, people definitely have favorites based on style.
Then you have the debate about consistency versus sublime performance. Is the greatest someone who is consistently near the top for years, or someone who maybe had shorter peaks but reached unbelievable, untouchable levels, like McEnroe's 1984 Wimbledon final demolition of Connors?
That was incredible, just untouchable that day.
Right. Does that single performance weigh more? Or does consistency matter most? And related to that, scores dominance. Should regularly crushing top opponents like McEnroe did to Connors there, or Edberg did to Courier in the 91 U.S. Open final, count for more than just squeaking out wins?
Interesting philosophical point about the scoring.
Finally, there's transcendence and social impact. Players who become icons beyond the sport. Billie Jean King, changing society. Agassi, McEnroe, people know them even if they don't follow tennis. That adds a whole other dimension to their legacy.
Wow. So much goes into it. We've really covered a lot today. From the tiny details of pronation in a serve to the massive trends in who's playing the game and all these complex ways we try to define what makes a tennis legend. It really highlights how tennis engages body and mind on so many levels.
It truly does. And maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Knowing that prestige comes not just from winning, but from who you beat. How does that change how you see the challenge? Not just in tennis, but maybe in climbing any peak in life. It's perhaps less about the number of wins and more about the quality of the challenges you overcome.
That's a fantastic thought to end on. We hope this deep dive enhances your appreciation the next time you watch a match or step onto the court yourself. Thanks for joining us.